Great, thanks. So thanks for taking the time today.
My
So,
pleasure.
so what initially enticed you to take on this project? It's a thriller, yet it has social commentary, sort of like it's making a political statement, so to speak.
It's just the originality of the concept. I had worked, James DeMonaco and I had worked together on a remake of a John Carpenter film, Assault on Precinct 13, and we loved making that movie. And when I was doing Sinister with Jason, we were talking about James and what a great underrated filmmaker he is, and Jason got really excited about this script and gave it to me. So the combination of those two guys, Jason and James, sending me this, and it felt like an old school genre movie that I grew up on watching, whether it's Escape from New York or I don't know what, but it's accomplishes the first goal of a genre movie, which is to be tremendous fun. I mean, it's just entertaining as hell. And then it does the second goal, which is to have something for you to think about after it's over. And the worst ones are like candy. You eat them and then they're gone. And well, I guess the worst ones aren't even like candy. They just taste bad and you spit them out. But then the next one is they're kind of sweet and delicious, but then you forget about them. And the best ones are incredibly fun and leave you something to talk with your friends about after they're over.
Now, so if you could set up The Purge for me and exactly what it is.
Well, it's a movie that's set in the future when, America has recovered from the Great Depression of 2020 or whatever it is, and there's a new government in place that has decided to shut down once a year to allow people to purge themselves of all the hatred and bile that collects during the year. And so they unload the jails, and they don't have to, you don't have to worry about if somebody cheats you in a land deal. You just wait till purge night and you kill the guy. And so the courts aren't full with unnecessary lawsuits, and the unemployment goes down because all the poor people kill each other. And it's kind of a radical, ridiculous idea, but it provokes a lot of thought about ways that it's not so far-fetched.
So now, when you initially, signed on to do this, though, it's a little bit different though than some of your other roles, right? So what was that?
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, I started acting when I was 13, so I've been trying to play around in all different kinds of genres of making movies. I'm not that good of an actor that I can just kind of shape change myself into these different people, but I can try to find good scripts that put me in different worlds. And so that helps me be a better actor and helps me stay curious and excited about making movies. This is an old-fashioned movie in a way that, I think Scorsese called it smuggler's cinema, when it's, it's a studio film, it's a Friday night popcorn movie, but at the same time it actually is radically fun and has something radical to say.
And so talk to me then about your character's arc. What is his take on the Purge, and where do we see him kind of go throughout this film?
Well, he's a person who's making money off the Purge, and like a lot of people who make money off something choose not to see the downside of it. It's like a cigarette salesman or a guy who sells whiskey or something. He doesn't want to hear about drunk driving stats. This is a guy who builds home security systems. So the higher the threat of violence is, the more useful his product is. So he's a guy that at first doesn't see himself as part of the problem at all. And through the course of the movie, this violence that seems so far away starts coming in, and he starts to realize that he's been a participant in something very, very dark.
Now, you guys shot the film fairly quickly. Did the accelerated schedule kind of help, though, with the intensity of this? Or?
I love that. One thing that there's something fun about having a disciplined budget, let's put it, that forces you to be more creative and have more fun. I mean, as opposed to, if you're doing a big movie and the shooting day goes wrong, it's okay, we can pick it up tomorrow. But on an independent movie, nothing can go wrong, or the movie won't be good. So it's kind of like a razor's edge, and it's a lot more fun. And things do go wrong, obviously, and they're not as good as you wanted them to be. But it's accumulation of, did you win more battles than you lost?
And talk to me about working with Lena and Max and Adelaide as well, and just, the dynamic with everyone and their characters.
Well, for me, the best part of this movie is Lena's performance and her character. I felt that when I read the script that it was a real opportunity for Lena to do something special, and she did it. She's kind of the hero of the movie, kind of housewife as lioness, and she's the heart of the movie to me. My character is kind of a guy who finds this sense of self a little too late.
Would you say then too, though, that we see Max as sort of like the moral compass of the story?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say he's a moral compass because I play the father, and a lot of what he does is exasperating to me. I want to, but he is. It's both, certainly. He's the one who's looking at it from an ethical point of view. I mean, at first, Lena's character is just sedating herself, trying to ignore it. But he's the one who's looking at it for what it is.
So what do you hope the audience takes from this? I mean, like I was saying earlier, was the intent, you think, to always have sort of that social commentary or a political statement, or?
I think the intent of any good genre movie is first off to be entertaining. I mean, to be fun. And once you've done that, then you can think about the second thing, which is what do you have to say? And the best genre movies lace those through. And this one, certainly, for me, it's impossible to watch this movie and not start thinking about all the ways in which it's not so far-fetched. All the ways that we've seen a lot of this stuff on the news. And it gives you a way to think about the ethics of our position on violence, our position on race, our position on economics, without, some talking head having trying to teach you or having an agenda about who you should vote for. It really just presents these radical ideas, and you can think about what ways the characters are good and bad.
Awesome. Great. We're good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.